But thank you for having me on the show. I'm so excited. This year's been crazy with COVID and just having to stay put. And when it first happened, I wasn't quite sure how things were going to play out, especially with production and shows and doing other stuff with celebrity clients. However, divine timing and the divine alignment opened new opportunities. We're able to do a lot of things virtually. And I'm happy to say I haven't skipped a beat. Everything keeps going. Even as far as still producing shows, there's different ways to do it. I'm still hired and brought on, and I'm just very, very grateful to be able to thrive in this market, in this new world that's continuously growing. And to go with it is
definitely. So I'm going to start.
TVs, they're out here, all my aunties.
Yes, that's like me. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about if we can meet up, if we can get together. Everyone's doing it on live, so let's just focus on what we're doing and show them some boss to boss stuff and go live.
Exactly.
So I'm going to start out with a few background questions. So not just the audience, but there's a lot of things I would like to know about you. So can you tell us where you're from? And this is kind of one of my favorite questions, like a little bit about you as a child, and in your younger days, how you knew back then. I'm sure you were bossing back then, so maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I am born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, the best city in the United States, honey. So I'm a very proud. Can you? Yep, it looks like it froze up. There it is. You're back?
1 second.
Okay.
To use this feature, please make sure your app is running and can access the internet.
This is like COVID life or the Yeah, I'm here. You can hear me?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So I was saying that I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm not being biased when I say it's the best place in the United States. It truly is. And growing up, I was a talkative, energetic, creative child. I remember going all the way back to like elementary. We directed all of my talent shows with my friends, and we won every year. So,
yes.
And so that's like one of the things when I think back and I look back now retrospectively, I'm like, wow, I really have been producing, directing, doing PR, management, way before I even understood what those things were. It was just in our own group and in the community and at school. And when I talk to people who knew me when I was like in middle school, they'll say, "Oh, we always knew you were going to do this." And I'm like, really? We had a dance group called the Fire Females, and we thought we had smoke when we performed and color coordinated clothes, and we were guests at other schools. So it was like the epitome of like a seventh grader's reality of being a celebrity, So that was one of the many talent shows that we just kept doing, and groups of people and friends. Even in high school, there was a group of guys who rapped, and I hung out with them. I thought I was going to be the first lady of Cash Money. You couldn't tell me nothing.
That is amazing. And you're so dope because I kid you not, like my little mind never stops. Like as you're talking, I just thought of a whole idea. I think I better share that with you later. That's one of my things. Like, stop telling everything online. But you just really gave me a dope idea, and I can identify because sometimes we do forget. We just go, and then, we always looking for what bigger thing we can do. And one day, one of my friends was like, remember in elementary school, you was always raising your hand at the end of the assemblies, and you had an announcement like, "Hi, I'm selling cake at lunchtime, and I'm selling T-shirts, and if you want to get the Ninja Turtles drawing on your pants." So I was like, I kind of forgot that, So that's totally awesome. So since we just kind of fell into that whole thing, can you tell anyone who may be young just some tips to stay motivated and just about the journey? So, even in times like this, how staying steadfast, how you may have had some ups and downs, but it all shaped you, and how would you encourage some of the younger people, which I'm sure you do all the time, but yeah.
Well, that's a good question. The way you phrased it is different, because it's a different question, but it's true. It's like, my biggest thing is, you have to always stay ready. Just keep learning. You're never done. Learning doesn't mean you have to be in some big school to do it. Nowadays, you can learn laying in the bed on your cell phone, on YouTube, reading books. Just stay ready, stay learning, because you have to trust in divine timing of the universe. And you never know what's coming to you and why you need to learn different things. And just because you think that you're going to be a publicist, you may not be. And for me, I'm a publicist, and I've been for a long time, and then it's opened up so many other doors for me to do other things. And I have been ready for those other things. And I'm still ready, universe, for all these things that's coming.
I love that.
Never.
So you're definitely saying to stay prepared, because opportunities come pretty fast. Definitely. And I like what you said about, I'm working on that too, just to stay learning. It doesn't always have to be in a big university, but I have some children I want you to meet too. My best friend, he has these, I think, 2 nephews, Auntea. They're like small geniuses, and they're online doing all this stuff, right? And they're trying to show me. I'm like, I don't have no idea what you got going on. And then I said to the mom and grandma, said, "Y'all really doing a great job." And the grandmother said, "No, we're not doing no. They do that on their own. They go online and learn on their own."
Exactly.
So I just think that's amazing.
Like, I've heard from Oprah, but I know a lot of people have said it as well, that success is the equation of opportunity and preparation meeting. So you can have opportunity, but if you're not prepared, you might miss it.
Definitely. I know what that's like. Definitely. So can you tell us some of your favorite moments? Like, I read your resume, but it's just something about hearing people. I love it. Talk about the great things they've done and living through them. So can you tell us some of the highlights that you personally remember from working with, certain people, or just doing certain things where you were like, yeah, I love it.
I have so many. Oh my God. Let's see. One of the biggest things I've done that I don't know if I've told anybody or if I have credit for, but Luke James, the singer Luke James, from New Orleans. So we have a New Orleans connection. Everybody who's popping in New Orleans, we all know each other and we all look out, right? He was first starting publicly, because he's been singing since we were in high school, right? So
wow.
First coming out with that "I love you," that song, and I remember I'm like, oh, Luke's in town. He was in DC, and he was performing at the Hamilton, and I asked his manager, "Why aren't you guys doing Howard's Homecoming?" And they're like, "I don't know." So I didn't know. I just made a bunch of phone calls, and Lauryn Hill was headlining the Howard Homecoming R&B show, and I was like, he needs to open for Lauryn, and I called everybody in the world. I did everything you can except walk up to the university and knock on somebody's door. So they got it on a schedule. Luke opened up for Lauryn, and I had, at that time, my spirit number was number 504. It was just a number I always would see. And when I walked, wasn't there yet, and I went backstage, and all of the production and sound band said 504 on them, and I was like,
you knew it was for you.
I knew it was for me. And that day when he performed, He was phenomenal. Everybody knows who James was. And I did his PR whenever he came to DC, Maryland, or Virginia ever since then.
So I thought of two questions while you were telling us that. One is like when I hear you, I hear your spirit just when you're like, oh, you gotta be on this. And even when you say you were young, you were like, oh, we're gonna do this show. Like I'm gonna put this show together, So can you tell us a little bit about where you get that from and maybe inspire the people who sometimes think they can't, be that person and just jump in and take charge? Like, how do you stay empowered to be that person?
You just got to do it. It's a mindset. And it's like that fear, like just jump, like when you're about to bungee, and if you don't just jump, you'll just be on the ledge forever. And then once you jump, it feels awesome, and I have that fear now. I'm shaking talking to you now, I work through the fear, and I think it's some fear that really makes me feel like I'm going to beat myself. Like, if I'm fearful or afraid, I'm like, okay, this can't happen. I don't got time for this. And then I'm like proving it to myself. Where that came from, I don't know. But I could credit my aunties, my mom, my bullies in school. I don't know. It's just something that you make up in your mind that says I'm unstoppable, or this is where I'm going to be, and ain't nobody control of that,
So, cause can you see the comments too?
Yeah, I see. So that Sean.
Because they're saying like work through the fear. I was like, I was talking to one of my friends recently. She kind of opened up. She's like, I have a camera. She was telling me all this stuff she had. And I was like, what's up? We got to get this stuff. And she's like, well, I really am. I have a fear. I'm just scared. I was like, you're not the only one with fear. So that is a jewel she just dropped. Working through the fear. I used to have this weird thing. I didn't know what it was. It could have been some, hey, girl. It could have been some sort of anxiety, like, I take so long to get ready. It's like, when are you leaving now? Get out of the door, So sometimes there's so much going on, but you do it anyway. And then whenever a thought would come into my mind and not do something, I was determined that I got to do it. You know what I mean? That means I have to push through and just do it. So you brought me to another question, girl. So she said, hey, girl. So she said, you just said, part of you have to credit, your mom, your aunts, the women in your family. That's something I love about you. Me, myself, I was kind of brought up around tons of guys. So when I see women like doing women stuff, I'm like, I need to get me some sister girls, So it's just a beautiful thing, like at the fashion show, and I see how you all just work together. You're so supportive. I follow you online, and I see, so many women, and they just support you. You're just like, Auntea, like just a magnet for girl power. So can you just tell us how that works for you, and how that comes together and has inspired you?
Sure. A couple of things. I grew up around a lot of women. I have a family of women. Family of women. So I love women. I'm comfortable with beautiful women. I don't have any intimidation about that. Smart women. And I don't care about what someone has going on. It's like an energy thing too. So, and I went to all girls school too. So I do have a sisterhood comfortable about me with that. But energy is very important to me. So I'm a reflection of everyone I'm around. So if you see me give you good energy, that's because you have good energy. We're just mirroring each other, then we're vibing off of each other. I just love it. But I feel like I work the same way with men. I think I maneuver different with men to make sure that it's about business, and that's it.